everyone? Welcome back to another director ranking. This time, Steven Spielberg, one of the most prolific ever, one of the most influential. And let's start from the beginning with Duel. Now, before I watched this movie, a lot of people said, "Oh, this is the best TV movie of all time," and so I had high hopes going into it. But honestly, wasn't a huge fan. I mean, it was fine, but I don't know. I just didn't get the big appeal of it. It's a low budget. Like, there's some action. There's some. I mean, the characters weren't great. I mean, nothing was that great. But whatever. Something Evil, another TV movie, pretty bad. Savage, another TV movie, pretty bad. And of course, The Sugarland Express, which is another one that's pretty bad, but the best of these three, I guess. I don't know, the TV movies just didn't have the feel. He was definitely trying to find his style, and I don't know, just wasn't impressed by them. Next we have Jaws, which, Jaws, it's the first true blockbuster. It's gonna have to be in the God tier for me. It's a top 5 Spielberg film for me. It's a masterpiece. Well, yeah, I would say so. And although I think it's easily not his best. I think if you say it's his best, I think you're tripping or something. But it's a great movie. I remember seeing it in theaters for the 40th anniversary. It was really awesome in theaters. If you ever get a chance to see it, even if you've seen it a million times, and if you see it for the first time in theaters, it's a better experience, especially with the big booming soundtrack by John Williams. Which, John Williams. If Steven Spielberg didn't have John Williams, half these movies would just be like nothing. Next we have Close Encounters. Gonna go in the great tier for me. Not on the same. I mean, it's a really great movie, a really strong movie. A lot of great visuals. Jaws had some good shots, but Close Encounters really uses the color. Some Tarkovsky-inspired stuff too. There's a shot when the kid's looking out the door, like the alien and the lighting, really reminds you of Mirror from Tarkovsky, and it probably was intentional. Next we have 1941. A comedy. It's got Belushi, it's got Aykroyd, Christopher Lee's in it, Toshiro Mifune's in it. But it's got a big cast. It's got funny moments. Not that great though. For me, it's gonna have to rank in the mad tier. Maybe a little above. Well, maybe a little below Duel actually, because I feel like Duel is more consistent in what it is. 1941, no, it doesn't work the whole time. Raiders, come on. It's a perfect film. I grew up with... I'm biased towards the Indiana Jones trilogy, but, I mean, come on. It's just awesome. I could rewatch them a million times and they would still be awesome. You can't argue that. I think they're probably the best adventure movies of all time. I guess they're action, too. But when you get to action, there's like different genres of action. But yeah, Indiana Jones, if you consider it an action movie, it's one of the best, if not the best. E.T., another classic here. I'm going to put it top of the... This is going to be top of the greats here for me. E.T. gets a little overrated, I'll say that. Because a lot of people see it when they were a kid, and it's like, oh wow, and I think it's a great movie. Thing is, just not the same as you're not gonna get the same experience watching Jaws or Indiana Jones, where you're like on the edge of your seat, like, oh yeah. I mean, E.T. It's fun. It's a kind of a magical movie for kids, but and there's a lot of stuff to enjoy for adults too, but. Especially the soundtrack, but, yeah, not enough to put it in my God tier. Now we have Twilight Zone the movie. The one where someone died while filming. Now, that was not Steven Spielberg's part. who's that? John Landis's part? I believe that was John Landis's part where the guy died. Um, let me. I don't know if I could find the name of him quickly enough, but yeah, this. If you don't know, and you could find the footage online, they teach it in like film school for like what not to do. This movie has segments, and I actually do like a lot of the segments. I think they're actually pretty decent, pretty fun. But there's one where this guy, he's like racist or something, and goes back in time to like the days, I don't know, and there's like kids there, and he confronts like the KKK and like the Nazis or something. And he's trying not to be, like, he learns his lesson by experiencing himself. Then the moral of the story is he's not racist anymore. And it's a fine concept. Thing is, they had a bunch of these Asian child actors who technically were there illegally, because it was like past 10, like, and they couldn't work. Child labor laws say kids couldn't work past 10. They're like weren't even official like citizens or something. Kind of smuggled them in. And there's a scene where the man's carrying the child in his arms and running away from falling helicopters. Now, this is 1983. No CGI. I mean, even though there's stuff more incredible than that happens in like Star Wars, which came out years before, but I guess you didn't have Lucas on this one. So they had actual helicopters falling. And you could watch the video of it. And it's like gruesome, but it's not like close up. A helicopter falls, and the blades are spinning, and it like falls a little too far one way, and whoosh, 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 it decapitates both of them, the kid and the adult. And I believe there's like no repercussion for the director John Landis, and it's like, what? Huh? He killed him. And they even said, "Are you sure we should do this? This is a bit dangerous." And he's like, okay. Let's still do it, though. I mean, come on. It's just kind of dumbfounding. Who thought that was a good idea? You could look on the Wikipedia page, Twilight Zone accident. Let me see. Vic Morrow died, and a child that... And oh my god, he was carrying 2 kids! He was carrying a kid in each arm. Mika Din Lee and Renee Shinyi Chen. So it was... it's insane. And that's the only thing that really sticks out about Twilight Zone the movie for me. So it's gonna be... I'll put it top of the Met here, because... overlooking... it's tough to overlook, but if you overlook the deaths of... all the deaths of 2 innocent kids and a popular actor, not that too popular, but like a significant actor, then you, he wasn't that significant. He was in Bad News Bears. He was in Humanoids from the Deep. Yeah, but a guy altogether didn't deserve to die. If you overlook that, it is a good movie because even if you don't like one segment, there's more than one, so you get another segment. So, in that case, I'll put it top of the Met here. Now we got Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Some people say, this is one of the bad ones. No, come on. If you don't watch Temple of Doom and love it, what's not to love? This is Indiana Jones' adventure not at its pinnacle. It's the weaker of the trilogy, but it's still an awesome movie. The opening battle scene with the Asian Mafia. He goes behind the gong, jumps out of the window, the plane ride from hell, jumps out, the waterfall, and then they're in India. Some people say it's like racist. I think people are just looking for complaints. And they find this underground cult. The room with the spikes, oh my god. The guy rips out her heart? Come on. Short round? Come on. Then we get the mine carts, and he fights the guy, and he gets cut in half from the big machine. The battle on the bridge. It's definitely God tier for movies. It's just so much fun. Now we have The Color Purple. Now, Color Purple is definitely a good movie. It's well made. I'm not a huge fan of it because I feel like it shows some of Spielberg's worst qualities in terms of, just the over sentimentality that a lot of directors that are as popular as he has, like, Kubrick or Hitchcock, or Hitchcock's not even the best example, but like the real auteurs, like like the Kubricks, the Fellinis, like even the Paul Thomas Anderson, someone from modern day, Scorsese, like they won't fall to that level that Spielberg often does. They have their own style and they're not gonna do anything. But Spielberg, a lot of his movies always have to have happy endings, just because. I don't know if that's him or that's the era they're made in, and that's what's expected. But that's the flaw with a lot of his movies, and stuff like that. It just tries to be too emotional. So I think it's well made. I'll put it in the great tier for now, but it's going to be bottom of the great tier. Empire of the Sun starts a very, very young Christian Bale. Now, it's a World War II movie. It's pretty great here. Some of the same problems I had with Color Purple, where I just personally didn't enjoy it because it was like, but I still think it's a great movie, and definitely hasn't really missed yet. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is Spielberg's best, and this is one of my favorite movies ever. Now, some people would say that Raiders is the best. Some people would. To be honest with you, no. Raiders is only looked at as the best because, it's the classic, it's the original. But in all honesty, Last Crusade improves upon every aspect of it. Well, Belloc's probably... Well, no. He's fighting Hitler in this movie. There's no better villain than Hitler. I mean, this movie has everything. It has the adventure. He's going across the world. Has the best action scenes. We got Sean Connery. What does Raiders have? No one. We got Sean Connery. We got the twist villain. We got Young Indy. We got, the tank battle. Oh my God. The temple at the end when they find that Holy Grail. I mean, the underground library place, the boat chase. It has, like, the best action. The blimp. Oh my God, the plane, like the North by Northwest inspired scene. I mean, it's a perfect movie. Oh my God, the motorcycle chase. Anything in the Nazi castle. They're tied. Oh my God, the fire when they're tied to the chair. I mean, it's just insane. I think it's the best. I think it's the ending, riding off into the sunset. It's the perfect ending for the Indiana Jones trilogy, and I'm glad they didn't make any more and ruin the franchise. I think it's a perfect end to the 80s for Spielberg. And a perfect end to Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford, awesome. Sean Connery, awesome. It's a movie that I've seen a million times, and I'll watch it again a million times. I think it's the best one. And I think it's Spielberg's best. Sorry. Did I say that was into the 80s? No, we actually have Always. Huh? With Richard Dreyfuss and Holly Hunter and John Goodman. Audrey Hepburn's in it? Huh? Well, this is definitely a trash tier. What was he thinking here? That's not, okay, that's not how you follow up The Last Crusade. Indiana Jones goes out with a bang. His biggest adventure yet. You think he dies at one point. He falls off a cliff on a tank. Turns out he's alive. There's so many... it's one of the most exciting movies ever made. Then he follows it up. Always. Just look at the poster. It's like the cheesy Christmas movie that no one needed. It's not even a Christmas movie. It just looks like it's snowing on the cover. It's one of his... Oh, so happy in the end. I don't know. Nothing. Hook, that's fine, but not really anything great. It's probably a little better than Duel, because I don't really like Duel, but worse than Twilight Zone. Now, here we go, the classics, Jurassic Park. Don't think it's better than Indiana Jones 1 and 3, because I think those are just perfect. Temple of Doom, I think, stellar movie, not as consistent as the 1 and 3. But Jurassic Park, you know, the story. I still think it's some of the best special effects of all time. I mean, you watch Jurassic World or Jurassic World 2. What happened? 1993, some of the best special effects ever. And then they get worse. I mean, the CGI here, you seriously cannot tell it's CGI. And because there was a mix of practical effects too. Well, at least for the T-Rex. T-Rex still looks perfect. You know, some of the, like the Stegosaurus and stuff like that, when he's like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and the theme song's playing, and he looks up, and he's like, "Yeah." But, you know, classic cast here: Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough. Samuel Jackson shows up. Hello, Newman. Newman's in it. I mean, it's a classic movie. Come on. Schindler's List hits us with the 1-2 punch in '93. Probably the best year for any director ever. 2 masterpieces, 1 year. Now, Schindler's List, 3 hours, black and white, definitely a risk. And the only criticisms that I've heard of it from people like Terry Gilliam is that, you know, it focuses too much on the good, where a better director would focus on the truth. That, wow, he saved, you know, hundreds of people. But there's still the millions that died, and it just tries to give this happy ending, or like, kind of sad, sappy, happy ending. I don't know. But for what it is, Schindler's List is an amazing movie. Really moving. Well, what would it move me to do? Guess it's not moving. But, who was last am I going to say? Well, I don't know. But it's Liam Neeson's only great performance. I mean, he's like good in some other things, but I don't know. Ralph Fiennes is always good. I don't know. Who hasn't seen it by now? Come on. Jurassic World 2, The Lost World. Now, sometimes you just have to leave stuff alone, but I know Spielberg is a blockbuster man. He likes doing the blockbuster, so why not create a sequel? And the sequel is not as good. Don't think it's in the trash. Oh, it might be in the trash tier. It's just not memorable. I mean, it's got Jeff Goldblum. That's all I remember. Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore's in it? Julianne Moore, it must be like a super young Julianne Moore or something. Because I'm a big Julianne Moore fan. You know, she doesn't, I mean, this came out in 97, so yeah. You know, Julianne Moore's in it. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this in a long time. I didn't remember she was in it. And I'm a huge fan of hers. And if you guys haven't seen the movie called Safe from 1995, it's a more independent, I don't know if it's like an independent film, but it's like that level of popularity. But it's definitely her best performance, and it's like an awesome movie. But she's awesome in everything. Who's the little girl? What is she doing now? There's like this little girl who's like a gymnast. Oh my god, Vince Vaughn is in it. One rule of movies. If Vince Vaughn is in your movie, the movie sucks. There's no point to watch it. Seriously. He has not been in one good movie. So for that sake alone, well, it does have Julianne Moore. I'll put it in the bottom of the Mets here for now. Vanessa Lee Chester. Plays the little girl. She was also in 17 Again with Zac Efron. She was in She's All That. She was in A Little Princess, which is, whoa, it's a Quaron movie? Children of Men, Roma, Gravity, or I guess Quaron. She was in Harriet the Spy. She was in CB4, Stepsister from Planet Weird, a Disney Channel movie. She was in Extreme movie, Happily Never After, Dreams in the Attic with Shelley Duvall, and that's it. Then she went off the face of the earth, so I don't know. Amistad, next. I've never heard anyone talk about this movie. I did not know it existed before I was doing my watch list, and I found it. It's got a good cast. I don't know who the main guy is, Jimon Hansu, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, Gladiator, Shazam, Aquaman, Quiet Place Part 2 he was in. I watched it. Fury, I mean, he's plays the main character. Well, there's actually a couple leads. Morgan Freeman's also in it. Matthew McConaughey, Anthony Hopkins. So there's a good amount of people in it, but it's another one. It's good, not great. And Spielberg's going to have a lot of those pretty soon. So I will put it at the top of the Met tier. Saving Private Ryan. It's going in the God tier. You know, when I expected a lot from this movie. Truth is, I got a lot from it. Tom Hanks is great in it. Not a huge fan of Matt Damon, but he's not bad. Vin Diesel shows up. Got some other good people, but you know that opening scene, one of Spielberg's best directed scenes. A lot of his movies are like, you know, they're really entertaining, but they're not even all that well directed. Like seriously, what do you remember that's well directed from, I don't know, 1941? Or, I mean, but you know, with the great tier and the God tier, there certainly is. So yeah, Saving Private Ryan. What do I need to say about this? It's a one of the best war movies ever, and somehow lost the 1998 Best Picture award to what? It's like Shakespeare in Love or something. Harvey Weinstein movie. It's like, let's see. What do I have ranked as the best film of 98? 98. 98 wasn't the strong. Oh, Big Lebowski. Yeah. Yeah, I still think Big Lebowski's better than Saving Private Ryan. AI 2001. Well, it came out in 2001, and it's gonna be in the great tier for me. I really enjoyed it. Some people rate it like 5 stars. It's not that good, but a really unique concept that I think does a lot of great stuff. So it's gonna be below Close Encounters, but above Empire of the Sun and Color Purple. Minority Report, thought was even better. Love the concept of, you know, these pre-crime stuff, like, and the morality of arresting people before they do the crime. I thought Tom Cruise was pretty great in it. There's a lot of great stuff in this movie. Thought it was a little better than AI. Next is Catch Me If You Can. I think it's another great one. He's not missing here. We get Tom Hanks and Leo and Christopher Walken and Martin Sheen and Amy Adams. So we got a lot of great actors and actresses. It's going to be a little below AI, but above Empire of the Sun. But for me, this is kind of where Spielberg lost a little of his just imagination. You know, with stuff like Jaws, like this giant killer shark, awesome. E.T., Close Encounters, like this Minority Report, AI, this alien stuff. Indiana Jones, like this guy going on all these adventures. Obviously, Schindler's List, different, but Jurassic Park, probably the biggest, you know, like, whoa. But I feel like when he started, like, really working with Tom Hanks and stuff, you know, obviously we get my AI and Minority Report after Saving Private Ryan. Like, he lost some of his imagination. Because look at these movies. Like, anytime he tries to use his imagination, it's like crappy reboot. I mean, just, War Horse, really? BFG, like, crappy animated movie. Ready Player One, oh. So, I don't know. And all of his grounded movies aren't that bad. But we'll talk about those in a little bit. So, yeah, Catch Me If You Can, great movie. Let's go to The Terminal. Wasn't that impressed with The Terminal. It might... I gave it 3 stars. I think it's good. It's good. It's good. Don't know if I justify it going any higher than the top of the Met tier. I mean, it's not better than Color Purple. I don't know if it's I'm going to leave it here for now, and we'll see. But I do... No, I'll put it there. I think Tom Hanks really is good in it, so I'll put it in the bottom of the great tier for now. Now we'll get World of Worlds, where it's like, what? See, I didn't, you know... Spielberg, you invent sci-fi. You don't reboot the classics. And this one, it's not that good. And it never could be, because you're just comparing it to a classic. So it's going to be in the Mets here for me. Maybe a little more exciting than Duel, but still, come on. Now we get to Munich, one of my favorite of his more grounded he's got a lot of grounded movies nowadays, but one of my favorites from him in terms of those. And it's going to be maybe a little bit below Color Purple, but definitely above The Terminal. I think it's a great movie. Well, not like the best, but it's definitely in the great tier. It's a good movie, but definitely not meh. Now, oh my god. Now, I don't know if it was Spielberg's idea to make other Indiana Jones, or if it was the studios, or it was George Lucas's. But come on. Seriously? Seriously. So, okay. So you bring back Harrison Ford, good. Now, another Indiana Jones movie, in theory, is great, because everyone loves Indiana Jones. This is not how you make one, though. You don't cast Shia LaBeouf, first of all. You shouldn't cast Shia LaBeouf in any movie, actually. Don't know... I don't know why you do that. You don't have CGI monkeys and Shia LaBeouf swinging around with the monkeys. You don't have a bunch of crappy CGI stuff, either. Just in general, like... he was on a machine that spins around and shot him out. It's and there's the gophers. What is this? Caddyshack. You don't have him. He's not. He isn't John McClane. He's not gonna go into a nuke town, jump into a fridge, and blow it up and somehow survive. There's just so many. Okay, first of all, last of all, Indiana Jones is not sci-fi. Don't know who thought, probably George Lucas probably thought the sci-fi was a good idea. But come on. It's not good. Indiana Jones 5 is coming out. Oh, God. It's, Harrison Ford, he's been in so many good movies. Star Wars, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, the classics. He's been in Blade Runner 2049, classics. Apocalypse Now, Indiana Jones, Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, classics. Conversation he was in, Coppola, The Fugitive, American Graffiti. We're talking Witness, we're talking Air Force One, these action movies that are just great. So he has a place in history here. But Indiana Jones 5, he just got injured on it too. I am not opposed to an Indiana Jones 5. I just don't think you can make one that I think in a perfect world, creating the perfect send-off that somehow fixes all of Crystal Skull's problems, somehow is the best movie ever, then I'm not opposed to it, because I love Indiana Jones, some of the best movies ever made. Thing is, it's directed by James Mangold, who I actually don't have any problems with, because he has some good movies, but he's not Spielberg. He doesn't, I don't know. I like Logan, didn't like Ford vs. Ferrari, I like Girl Interrupted, didn't like The Wolverine, Walk the Line's good, but he's kind of hit and miss. I like Copland. It's going to be, and you know what it's going to be, if you look at the cast, it's going to be some of the it's going to be more political stuff. It's going to be, Indiana Jones just doesn't work in the modern day, because no one can just leave a franchise alone. We know that with Star Wars. So it's not going to be good. And I think Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was a mistake. It's going to have to, unfortunately, be, well, it's kind of more exciting than some of these trash tier movies, so it might actually be, but, just for what it is, I'll put it in the trash tier. Now we go to Adventures of Tintin. kind of forgotten about, but not a bad movie at all, actually. I remember watching it and be like, oh yeah. I'll be honest with you. Tintin, classic comic, didn't know it existed before the movie. I don't know, it just never came to me. I'll put it near the top of the Met tier. Not one of his best, not one of his most memorable, but not as bad as you would think. Now, here's something that is as bad as you would think. Warhorse. Are you serious? Warhorse? Now, I'll read you the story. It follows a young man named Albert and his horse, Joey, and how their bond is broken when Joey is sold to the cavalry and sent to the trenches of World War I. Despite being too young to enlist, Albert heads to France to save his friend. Now, I don't think animal movies are good. Just think about how many good animal movies there are, and you cannot come up with that many. Now, think about horse movies. Now, personally, I hate horses. They look ugly. People say, they're so majestic. Their long faces, gross eyes, weird hair, weird nose, just abnormal body. Their hoofs, they could kick you, they could do anything. I don't see the appeal of them at all, except that maybe riding them could be possibly fun. But even then, that's not really the horse, that's just riding something. Riding that bike could be fun. And now we get Spielberg tarnishing his legacy with a movie like Warhorse, which I think is definitely his worst. I couldn't even sit through it. It was so bad. The acting wasn't good. It was just so bland, so forgettable. I mean, John Williams, I feel bad for him because he has to do his soundtrack for this movie. What do you do if you're John Williams and Steven Spielberg comes up with, we need a soundtrack for Warhorse? What do you want me to do with Warhorse? He gave us classics. He gave us Indiana Jones. He gave us Star Wars. He gave us Schindler's List, Superman, Jurassic Park, Jaws. I think he did Saving Private Ryan, probably E.T., Close Encounters. He did everything. Now he has to do his Warhorse. I don't know. Just don't really know what he was thinking here. Lincoln. This movie is fine. The movie itself, fine. Good. It's a good movie. But Daniel Day-Lewis in here? Oh my god. He is amazing. For me, I rated this 4 stars. This is my top 10 Spielberg movies. It's going to be below Close Encounters, above Minority Report. Only because of Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie. His skill as an actor is matched only by, like, De Niro and Marlon Brando. I mean, not even Pacino, because I feel like Pacino, other than, like, Michael Corleone, he doesn't have, like, that many complex characters in terms of, like De Niro has, like, I don't know, Travis Bickle, Jake LaMotta, and he has more variety, where Pacino is always stellar, but tends to play a similar kind of role. Daniel Day-Lewis, on the other hand, he's played every type of role perfectly. He's amazing. Bridge of Spies next. Actually, a good movie. Pretty great, actually. I'll put it above Munich, below The Color. Actually, I like Bridge of Spies. I'll put it above these two. I'll put it below Catch Me If You Can, but above Empire of the Sun. Surprisingly enjoyed it, because a lot of his modern movies, it's like, here we go again. But Bridge of Spies, definitely good. Tom Hanks, great. Some good stuff, some bad tendencies, but overall, enjoyable. The BFG. What was Spielberg thinking? Stop doing these, like, CGI, half-baked adaptions here. It's pitiful. It's going to be in the trash tier for me, although it's a little bit above, I'll put it a little bit above Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because don't know if there's much worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Let's see. Next is The Post. Post, wasn't too impressed with The Post here. It's got 2 good actors in it as the leads. We got Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep. It's even got Bob Odenkirk in it. It's got some good people, but overall wasn't impressed. It's gonna be. Thing is, it's not bad, and that's the thing with modern Spielberg. So I don't think it's. I think it's kind of meh. But I wouldn't call it bad. It's just kind of bland. Doesn't have his personality in it like the God tier here. And honestly, I'll put the Terminal in here too. I'll put the Terminal in the top because I didn't think it was all that great. But I like this. We have a balance. We have equal number. Look, it's like symmetry. Now we go to his most recent, Ready Player One. And what a train wreck this was. Jesus. This is Shell. He's like doing a parody of himself almost. It's that bad. It's going to be below Sugarland Express, above Savage, Something Evil, and Warhorse. Don't know what he was thinking with this one. Shows the worst of modern movies where it's just CGI stuff and it's like, ooh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. It just was one. It's pretty pathetic from a guy who's directed so many great movies. We could talk about the movies he's produced. Oh my God, this guy's a producer. Oh, it's better than a director. We got Back to the Future, the whole trilogy. The first one could be in the God tier. Other two could be. Number one would be in the God tier. Number two would be in the Great tier. Number three would be in the Middle tier. We got Shrek. I think it gets overrated nowadays. Jurassic World 1 and 2 would both be... 1 would probably be lower end of the Mad tier, 2 would definitely be in the trash. We got First Man. I haven't seen it yet. Men in Black. We got Super 8. We got Gremlins. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The Goonies. Poltergeist. Cape Fear. Jurassic Park 3. All the other Man in Blacks that I forgot to mention, the Transformers movies, Monster House, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Cowboys vs. Aliens, The Land Before Time, he's Dreams by Akira Kurosawa. He's done he's produced like a million movies here. But I would say his next movie, which is an adaptation of West Side Story, reboot, I don't know. It's probably going to be in the trash tier also. But I hope he still has another classic left in him. Probably not. But come on, Bridge of Spies was good. Next time, we will be doing... It's going to be a short one, Paul Thomas Anderson. But there's probably not going to be any trash tier ones either.